Hi, this is Peter Friedrich, and today we're speaking with Amir Suhail about the Kashmir issue. So, Amir, I'm glad to have you with us today. I appreciate you offering your time, your perspective. Can you begin by telling us a little bit about yourself? You're from Kashmir.
Yes, thank you for taking time speaking about Kashmir issue. Well, my name is Amir and I study computer science and I'm a software engineer in Berlin. I am from Kashmir and I have lived my entire life there. So basically the Kashmir conflict it started, I've seen it all my life. It started in an era when we were born. The Kashmir conflict was already there. So we are raised and grown in a conflict area. So we know it better that what Indian policy and how the conflict has arisen. Yeah.
So, why is it that you personally want to talk about Kashmir today?
Uh, Definitely because there are a lot of people, almost 12 million people in Kashmir, whose voices are curbed. There is no communication at the moment. Government has suspended internet, mobile telephony. There's no way to communicate. They have suspended everything. So it's my voice to become the voice of those voiceless out there. I mean, from scrapping all laws, India has a history of betraying Kashmir. If you go through the history of Kashmir, how Kashmir acceded to India, it is full of betrayals. There's nothing new about it, be it a Modi government or anyone else's government. So world has to know about the human rights abuse in Kashmir. I mean, I want to simply portray it this way. The world knows India through Bollywood and yoga, but India is beyond that. It's just that naive image of India that world knows. It isn't actually that when it comes to Kashmir. We have seen mass rapes, mass graves, hundred thousands of people has lost their lives in a conflict. It's a small valley. India has made it a puddle full of blood. I mean, out of people who just want their basic human rights. Freedom is our indigenous right. And as per the UN, there should be a referendum held. 70 years on, no referendum. And now what India did? Scrapped the constitution. It was the law, certain protocols that were made in order back in time when Kashmir acceded to India under certain conditions, and today they violated, they scrapped that article. That means it's like back in old times. If today UK goes back to India and Pakistan says to them, hey, hold on, you're no more free, you're no more free country, we revoke that independence from you. How would it like? How would it look like? Similarly, when I look back at Kashmir's history, what India has done, all our life we have seen this. So again, this time it's another betrayal by India.
So Amir, so it sounds to me like what you're saying is that the situation in Kashmir right now is comparable, it could be analogized to if the UK returned to India and said, hey, we gave you independence in 1947, but now we're taking that back because we've just unilaterally decided to do so. And
yes.
in the case of India with Kashmir, what's happened is that India has stepped in this last week, and they have revoked, in the space of just a couple of days, two constitutional articles, this Article 370 and this Article 35A, which had been in place for 70 years and which gave Kashmir basically autonomy in its domestic affairs, and which were, in the eyes of Kashmiris, as I understand it, these articles were legal basis for Kashmir even aligning with India at all. Is that how you would?
Yes. There were already also with this accession to India, there were already a majority of people already against it because this accession was done under the Hindu ruler where the majority of population in Kashmir being Muslims, they were already opposing it because they wanted to stay independent. No India, no Pakistan, but an independent, because we were independent before that. So yes, it boils down back to this article, which also gave Kashmir a status of staying independent, having separate law. But now India has scrapped it back. It basically leads us back to the argument what we were talking about.
Okay, so Amir, tell me what is happening in Kashmir right now. You mentioned the people's voices are being curbed. I think you may have made mention already of a curfew. Can you tell us a little bit what's happening in Kashmir right now?
Being here, I really don't know what's going on. I tried to talk to my parents. I tried to call my relatives and friends. I can't make a call. India has made it's a hell. They have, on the news, I saw the BBC report as well. I mean, they're shooting on crowd. And we have seen it happening before. They use pellet guns. Pellet gun is a pellet shotgun. If there's a crowd who are peacefully protesting against Indian rule, they shot thousands of pellets at a time, and those pellets go into the eyes of kids. And they have a history of blinding people in Kashmir. If you see UN report 2018 and 19, how many people they have.
Amnesty International has repeatedly spoken out against
exactly.
It, called it a mass blinding going on in Kashmir.
Yes, that's right. And right now, I mean, they have right now unofficially, officially they had 500,000 troops, plus 38,000 more they sent this time, but unofficially it's more than that, I'm sure about that. It's full of army everywhere. We don't even have a breathing space. India wants us to look into Kashmir through their eyes. They have, in the 70 years, they haven't, worked on this, what we Kashmiris actually want. They just want land Kashmir without Kashmiris. So they have locked them down. There's a crackdown. People are locked in their homes. There was an Eid. It's the biggest festival for Muslims, twice a year. And they locked them down. They could not even offer the religious prayers. They could not even make calls to their loved ones. We could not speak. This is for the first time in my life that I'm not able to speak to my parents on Eid. So it's shocking. They have, raped their own democracy, I would say, because Indian constitution even doesn't allow them to, scrap 370 article. So they did it out of, it's a new government of jingoistic and hooligans who are ruling the modern India, where the economy is crippling and everything it's a sham of moving the attention towards Kashmir, because the government is not doing so good in India.
So I kind of feel like you've already vocalized this, but let me just ask you outright. How do you feel about what the government is doing in Kashmir?
I think there are a lot of reasons behind what they are doing. I mean, first of all, they scrapped their own constitution. That means there's no democracy. India is called the largest democracy on paper, but it doesn't exist when it comes to Kashmir. This government had an agenda before going into polls to elections. They had clearly mentioned that they want to scrap Jammu and Kashmir, which they refer Kashmir as Jammu and Kashmir in Indian terminology. So this was on their manifesto. The timings were perfect when the Pakistani Prime Minister met Donald Trump in US, and President Trump offering mediation for Kashmir, and there being a peace talks in Afghanistan. This seems that it boils down back here. They might be afraid that, okay, if there's a peace negotiation between Afghanistan and US might help mediate Kashmir in return to that peace process to Pakistan. So India stood up forward, scrapped everything, what they call democracy, and who is suffering here? World politics is played somewhere across the globe, and normal Kashmiris who just want peace, who just want to live their life independently. Nobody is hearing their voice. They are being killed and raped.
And let me ask you, you said that, you know, Kashmiris just want to live in peace. Earlier you talked about how there's no breathing room in Kashmir.
Yes.
There's so many troops. Growing up in
Yes.
Kashmir, what was your experience like growing up in Kashmir? Do you see soldiers on the streets everywhere you go?
Yes, I remember throughout my life, I see soldiers everywhere. Humiliation throughout my life. As a kid, I used to go on a bike to my school, and in the way there was an army camp. What was the law there? That I had to get down from my bike and walk across that street, not to use bike. This was the first law as a kid. I was studying in third primary, maybe age of 8. I started realizing that, okay, we are in an era where we are ruled and governed by some hooligans who are actually not Kashmiris, but are from some other land. And what they were saying is to show an ID. ID is an identification document that we belong to Kashmir. Can you imagine a person not a Kashmiri asking identity? At an age of 8, I started feeling this heat. And it's not only me, every Kashmiri. There were crackdowns. And if we were studying, during 8 in the night, we had to turn off all the lights. We could not study anymore. They would pelt stones on our houses. That means blackout, lights turned off. This was our childhood. As a teenage, we grew up. And there are traumatizing stories how what Indian Army has done there. I mean, that is again a long discussion. But I want to that, yeah, it was not easy to go up in a conflict there. But we know India has been doing it. And the international communities are silent. It's very sad.
We had a little bit of interruption in the internet connection there, Amir.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I caught a lot of that, and
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like an oppressive environment.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So, what are you feeling right now about the situation with your parents? When's the last time you talked with your parents or with other members of your family?
It was last time on the last Sunday, which was 4th of August, I think, or 5th of August. It's almost now 8 days that I haven't spoken to any of my family members.
How often do you usually talk with them?
I talk every day. Yes.
Okay.
But now I can't make any contacts. They have been giving the fake numbers that we have restored certain numbers, we have done this. I just tried almost every number they provided, the helpline. I could never get through any of them. Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the future of Kashmir? What do you think it looks like? What do you think it looks like? What do you think it looks like a week from now? What do you think it looks like 10 years from now?
If you see the continuous betrayals by India, be it in 1947, be it in after 1989, every time India has betrayed Kashmir or has done these harsh policies, we rose from it. And every time Kashmir movement towards freedom got stronger. I'm sensing this time India has done a blunder. Kashmiris won't give up. This is our struggle for freedom, and it will continue. There are endless examples in the world. Whenever there's a fight between truth and lies, the truth always wins. The road is always harder, but I'm sure one day we will achieve freedom. By this India's move, I urge all international communities to forget about the markets, to forget about the economical transactions they have with India. Kashmir can't provide that space to international communities. But it's my urge to all, for the sake of humanity. There are people out there who want to live their life. There are people out there who want to make a better future for their kids and for themselves and for the world. Let's be humans first and talk about humanity and help Kashmir to get what they want, to what they have fought for, to what they lost almost 100,000 lives. So freedom is what Kashmiris want, and in next 10 years, I'm sure that the road to freedom will look quite clear.
Okay, my last question, Amir, then is, do you believe that Kashmiris have been provided a voice in this decision about the Kashmir solution? Have they been provided a voice?
No. Kashmir, always I have seen what the problem today is. The India, Pakistan are talking about Kashmir. World is talking about Kashmir. Even now, when 370 article was scrapped, nobody consulted Kashmiris. They were locked down. Everything was shut down. They were under military occupation. It's an invading someone else's land by scrapping everything. Again, world is talking about India and Pakistan should resolve. Nobody is asking Kashmiris what they want. So I think Kashmir has not got enough attention from world. I think it's, again, for all world communities who work for peace and who work for humanitarian cause, I think Kashmir should be on the agenda now. Forget about the world economics and transactions of the market that India and Pakistan provide them. We have nothing to provide them, but it's just on the humanitarian cause. They should come forward and provide at least a voice to Kashmiris.
Well, Amir, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your perspective, your opinions, and hearing from you. I do hope that you get back in touch with your family again very soon.
Thank you very much.
Stand in solidarity with you and looking forward. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.